background, that's Giannis talking to the media, and probably what we're gonna do, we're gonna talk about tonight's game, which was kind of close until things happened in the end, and I guess it got a little bit so bad I ended up falling asleep part of the fourth quarter. So yeah, it's crazy. Um, so yeah, we're gonna talk about that. My thoughts, and also thoughts that I've been hearing so far, and plus we are gonna do the drinking game. So we're gonna look at go to the Bears and see what tonight's game is, because I know he's gonna put blames on same people, Kyle Kuzma, and of course the ownership. So if y'all give me one moment, I will be right back. I got to get something. Okay, I'm back. So I had to get something, to play the crap, drinking game. So we're gonna maybe set up the recorded version, and we can get started. But yeah, let's get to that. Okay, let's get started. Um, what's up, everybody? Y'all probably hear like a little bit noise in the background. That's where they do the press, interview, some players to Hey, what's up, Lucas? So it's Giannis getting interviewed by the media, and so y'all probably gonna hear some of that that background noise. Hey, I like turtles, and what's up, no no. Um, yeah, I don't know. It was just at one point it looked like the Bucks was gonna win, and suddenly it just kind of like crumbled down. So okay, that's it for that interview. So we're gonna let me just go to the from Milwaukee Bucks, and okay, there we go. So yeah, we're gonna listen to you're probably gonna hear a little bit of Doc Rivers in the background. So but yeah. But in the first quarter, it seemed like the Bucks had their worst game, or their worst quarter at some of this time. But I do give it to them. It was like they kind of turned it up in the second half. But can you do a song request? No, I cannot. I don't have all the memories and like stuff on here for the play music or anything like that. So yeah, Jonah 2 channel. My day is going good. I, I rest most of the day, and did put out a video earlier about how certain Bucks fans just need to calm down at times. Um, but yeah, just speaking of some Bucks fans, like the channel I check out is Amber's Logic. Like a the only one of the few Bucks channels out there that's kind of like a realist. Um, but I'll be in the middle of the 40s next month. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Um, yeah, it seems like everybody got it going. Jurassic, is it? Why is it your concern if I'm bald or not? Oh, okay, that's cool. But anyways, so it's like it's parts of the game, that the Bucks was coming close to the Knicks, and it seems like Knicks just pulled all the way back. And I know like some of the fans are like really frustrated with Doc Rivers, which I'm starting to see it now, and like so I don't like hate on the ones that don't like Doc Rivers, and yeah, I love Mickey Mouse, but anyways, the because I know some of the fans upset with Doc Rivers, and I can understand why. That he has a good basketball mind, and plus when it comes to defense, of course we're still in the top 10 in defense, but it's like offenses is like we're in the middle, so you at least want to get up there in the top 10 in offense and defense. So he kind of really don't have that much of a offensive mind. Defensive mind, yeah, but not offensive. So I'm thinking that he should. But some people at this recent video that I was watching and was like live on, that they may either, because I know they're going, they fire Bullhoser, they fire Adrian Griffin and hire Doug Rivers. So if they fired like another coach, that'd be owing those coaches like a lot of money, and I understand that. But then again, sacrifice got to be made. What's up, Dry Bones? So yeah, like sacrifices had to be had to be made. Hey, Dry Bones card. I wouldn't mind collaborate, but rapping collab. I used to be okay at rapping, and we can work on collabing. Just hit me up hit me up like on here, and like we can talk about it. We'll just see like how things go with your channel and my channel. So we'll just like go from there. So just get hold of me. Um, but I guess the insane thing is like they catch up, they go all the way back. Yeah, I know. I used to freestyle, but just all the stuff that going on in my life and stuff like that, my brain does not function. So the thing is that they need to. I know some of the players got to be like consistent, but if y'all look at some of the if y'all look at some of the players that we have, especially with we did a couple of trades for like some of those players, and okay, that was it about Doc. So who is next? They're gonna talk to. Oh, Kyle Kuzma. Okay, we'll do that. Um, but my real name is AJ. But anyways, let's just get to the quarter status because I know we're gonna be talking all day, and people are gonna be responding on here. Not talking about basketball related. So let's see. First quarter. Of course, Knicks was up 25. Then Bucks with the lowest scoring quarter in the game, 19. Um, Second quarter, of course, Bucks went up, and okay, that's not their highest scoring quarter in the game, but 30. Then the Knicks are tied, with their highest scoring quarter in the game, which is 35. Both second and fourth quarter, but we'll get to that in a second. Then second half, both teams wasn't scoring that good. 21 to Bucks 24. So yeah, and I think yeah, the 21 points for the Knicks, that's the lowest they scored in the quarter. Then kind of like the highest that both teams scored in the fourth quarter, 35 to 34. So something was going on, and I guess like the other upsetting part is like why Doc Rivers is not playing the young guys. You got to try something to have these guys develop. So I really don't get why he's not doing that. So it's just sad. Um, let's go to sorry, players. No, not player status, but team status. Um, the Knicks had 45 and 93. We might have said that 48.4% from the field. Uh, 12 or 33 with 36.4% from three, and really good with the free throw, 14 to 16 with 88% from the free throw line. Of course, 14 offensive rebounds they have, and yeah, we need to do better at rebounding. We really do. So it just like we just got to yeah, we're like a center in the coach away from like being great because yeah, it's just not good. I'm not reading that, but I get what you tried to do, but no, I'm not gonna wrap that. But like I said, I will still collab with you. Just like just we gotta just work out how get connected and just talk. But anyways, Knicks had a total of 44 rebounds. Um, had better assists, 28. But then again, I didn't look at the Bucks status yet, so who knows? 12 steals because Bucks don't know how to take care of the ball and don't make the right pass. Only one block, so block wise not that great, and only 8 turnovers, so decently took care of the ball. And I'm afraid to look at the Buck status. Uh, they actually shot better field goal than the Knicks did. That's surprising. 41 to 75 went might have said at 55% from the field. 3-point shooting, not totally great. 13 or 33 with 39.4% from three. Um, eh, we know the routine. Free throw shooting 12 and 19 with 63.2% from free throw. And yeah, like I said, that's sad. Three offensive rebounds. It'll be one thing to saying like you score on your like points and stuff, but you're not getting the offensive rebounds. Something ain't right. Um, Total of 32 rebounds. Like I kind of knew that the Bucks got out rebound by the Knicks. Okay, you got the assists with on 24, which is kind of kind of average. Now listen to Ryan Rollins post game. Um, yeah defense really got to work. They only had two steals, three blocks. With two of them was by Brook, and yeah, one of the main issues turnovers with 16. That's crazy. We're gonna start with player status first. We're gonna do the next. You have Mikael Bridges with 26 points, two steals, five assists, three rebounds, 2 of 6 from three, and 12 of 24 from the field. OG Anunoby, might say led the game or had the game high as well, or led the team and had the game high. 31 points, three steals, two assists, two rebounds, perfect 10 to 10 from the free throw, 3 to 10 from three, and 9 to 21 from the field. Carl Anthony Towns, as they kind of mentioned that Giannis was defending him at the beginning of the game, so that idea kind of worked. So if they end up facing this team in the playoffs, that's probably what they got to do. Had that happen, but I don't know, but like the rest of the team is like kind of small, so maybe they would have to do a small lineup and like may have Brook Lopez like be on the bench, come off the bench. That's probably when we get Jericho Sims and Bobby Porter's back. So I think we're like like a few games away from getting Bobby back. So yeah. But anyways, yeah, Carl Towns had 14 points, two steals, one assist, 10 rebounds, so double double for him with four offensive rebounds, 1-1 from the free throw, 1-3 from three, and wow, 6-16 from the field. So yeah, that's crazy. Josh Hart had 13 points, one block, two steals, eight assists, 14 rebounds. So yeah, he nearly had a triple double, and also with four offensive rebounds. 3 of 5 from the free throw, 0-2 from three, but 5 of 8 from the field. Former Buck player Deron Wright had 12 points, one steal, four assists, three rebounds with two offensive rebounds, 2 of 5 from three, and 5 of 9 from the field. Couldn't even do that when he was playing with the Bucks in the beginning. And like Doc gave him some playing time and just didn't work out. Only one player to talk about on the next team from the bench because Mendy has just been there starting five. And of course, they did a 9-man rotation, which is Landry Sammet. Okay, yeah, 13 points, uh, one steal, two assists, 3 of 5 from three, and 5 of 8 from the field. So yeah, let's go to the Bucks. Yeah, they really should be starting either Kevin Porter Jr. or Gary Trent Jr. at the at the shooting guard. Like Torian Prince, he has his ups and downs and stuff like that. But maybe it's like I know that at one time they put him on the bench, but it's just some games you might just have him be on the bench because with 26 minutes and stuff like that and what he did, that's like bench numbers. Well, anyways, Giannis Antetokounmpo led the team with 30 points. Wow, nearly fouled out. He nearly had a triple double as well. So I didn't pay much attention to his numbers. I just know he's was like had some a lot of points. So 9 rebounds, 7 assists. So a rebound away from a double double and 3 assists away from a triple double. So I'm glad Giannis is more passive to the team, like passing the ball for somebody to get the open shot. But it's just a sad thing is it's just like the team, some of the players on the team right now just cannot execute. And I know the problem is like some of the players, because they know they want to do shooting around Giannis, but the problem is it's like what can you do when your shooters can't execute? And plus, as soon as they get the ball when they're open, they don't focus on that shot. So yeah, that's just crazy. Anyways, I know Bear's going to say something about Kyle Kuzma, but he had a decent game. 20 points, although he only had like four turnovers. Ouch. One steal, three assists, 5 rebounds, and I know he's probably going to get on about the rebounds. Um, 3 of 4 from the free throw, not too bad. 1 of 5 from three, and 8 of 16 from the field. So he's getting a little bit better, like when it comes to like the post and like attacking and stuff like that. So he's getting a little bit better, but he maybe got to work on his three, maybe set up his. I think that's the thing is with some of the our shooters, like they don't set up their feet, and it's just sucks. Um, Okay, that's everybody. So gonna put this one on hold. So I'll just leave it there. Let me mute that. And let's see, Ryan Rollins. Yeah, he did good today. 20 points. Yeah, had the highest plus minus in the team with +7. Uh, four turnovers though. Four assists, 5 rebounds, 1 to 2 from the free throw, 3 of 4 from three, and 8 of 12 from the field. So he had a good game, and could be, Bucks point guard of the future. That's a big possibility. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, we might as well talk about Brook too. 7 points, 2 blocks, 6 assists, which is not too bad. But the rebounding, man, only five with 2 offensive rebounds, 0 2 from the free throw. Oh, that sucks. 1 to 2 from three and 3 of 5 from the field. But he's not, attempting much as he should, or at least trying to, make plays. But I'm glad, he's passing the ball a little bit too. If he gets like double or triple in the paint, but it's like the tallest person in this game, and I don't know. I guess when it comes to centers, I played a center position at like high school, and also with some games like street ball, whatever you want to call it. You just you got to rebound, and if you involve with everything else, have that work with it too. But still, rebounding, like, don't like tapping and stuff. Just grab the rebound. Um. Anyways, Ken Porter Jr. didn't have a good game, and then again, they didn't play him enough. And it just sucks. But the only person to praise, well, there's two people to praise. As actually, Gary Trent Jr. with 14 points, 1 rebound, 4 8 from three, and 5 of 11 from the field. So not too bad. AJ Green had 8 points. He did leave the game. I think with his shoulders, but I don't know if he's going to be out for the next game. Not sure. But yeah, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 of 5 from three, and 3 of 6 from the field. So final score 116 Knicks, 107 Bucks. Um, the Knicks, for the first time in like years, the Knicks won the season series against the Bucks. I guess we can recap the games. The Bucks only played, the Knicks only one time at home this season, and the two was like in New York. Um, Simple for like November 8th, where they really kind of got blew out, 94 to 116. Then Knicks beat them again January 12th, 106 to 140, and this time it was a close game. So I give them that. So there's something there, but it's just not connecting as of yet. Who knows? Maybe they'll figure it out. When certain players come back. Only thing we can do is hope and pray that Damian Lillard will be back. Wait, did the Wizards play? Okay, no, they didn't. They didn't play because we're kind of on like a Chris Middleton watch because of some of the midi sexuals. But anyways, I guess we can recap some of the games. Shockingly, Detroit beat Cleveland 122 to 133, and you got the Clippers beating the Nets 132 to 100. Then you got Toronto being Charlotte, of course, with La Melo Ball being out for the rest of the season. Yeah, they probably really are going to struggle, and just have to think about next year. So Charlotte lost to Toronto 97 to 108. So there's kind of still time for Toronto to catch up and maybe pass Miami, because I think Miami right now is a 10 seed, but we'll look at it in a bit. Um, Minnesota, they beat Phoenix at home 109 to 124. with Minnesota being at home. So Warriors beat the Pelicans, so it's not a given. 111-95. And ooh, Utah lost to Denver 93 to 129. God, that's gotta be painful. Um if only the Bucks, Pelicans, and Nets won their games, then all home teams would have won. So oh well, we lucked out. So we're gonna look at the standings and we're gonna get to like a quick video. So we're gonna do like yeah, there's wind blowing and ooh, like the wind, but I think the temperature dropped a little bit. Um, if y'all was in Milwaukee today, we had a high of 76 degrees today, so kind of crazy. Then we're gonna end up dropping all the way down to the 50s, like in the mid or late morning. So yeah, it's that crazy. Okay. Anyways, let's go to standings. We're not gonna look at stats because I don't think that's worth talking about anymore. So let's just get the standings, get this out the way, then we can do the drinking game. Definitely y'all still, on here. Okay, okay, then with the East, you got Cleveland, best record in the East. Then you got Boston, who won their last seven. They probably got the biggest winning streak in the NBA right now. Then the Knicks clinch a playoff berth as of today. Um, then you got the Pacers. Then you got Detroit winning their last three, and the Bucks, losing their last three. Then you got I don't even think well, there's a chance like if Atlanta keep losing, they might catch up and pass the Bucks, but from what it seems like, I don't think that's going to happen because I think like the first six teams in the East is going to be set, but positioning is still going to be a question mark because you don't know where from fourth to sixth, I don't know where it's going to go. And I think the Knicks are actually they're going to end up keeping that on spot. So that's going to be funny. A team with a losing record like Orlando. No, no, no. It's going to be Atlanta. That's going to be the division winner from the Southeast. So that's going to be interesting. Let's say Atlanta, then Orlando, Chicago won their last four. Then Miami won their last three. So did Toronto won their last three. So no, there's still a little bit of time. Of course, Philadelphia. You might as well say they eliminated from playoff contention too. So, and after today, Brooklyn has been eliminated from playoff contention. So Charlotte and Washington Wizards, which I think either the Wizards or the Jazz got the worst record in the NBA. Now let's go down here. Not much change. You got the Thunder, which has got the best record in the NBA. Then you got Houston. Then you got Denver, Lakers, Grizzlies, and the sad thing is, I this could be a rumor to a grain of salt, but I saw it on some people's posts that their head coach Taylor Jenkins got fired. I don't know why, but I don't know, but I am gonna look it up in a bit. Then you got the Clippers. Um, oh, never mind. Oklahoma City Thunder won their last eight, so they got the highest winning streak in the NBA right now. Then you got Golden State. Yeah, they dropped. Um, then you got the Timberwolves in eighth. Kings in ninth, and you got Dallas in 10th, and the return of Anthony Davis this week. So hopefully they'll make some noise. Phoenix right now is not looking good for them. But they still time at one point. Phoenix was the 10th seed, but they dropped. Um, Portland, then San Antonio, but the Pelicans and Jazz are eliminated from playoff contention. And I think Utah Jazz, yeah, they got the worst record in the NBA. So moving on from that, and what I was trying to look for is let's see, we are gonna play the drinking game, and if the people that's watching YouTube live, I apologize if it cuts out. Wait a minute, maybe I can save it. So hold on. Let me see what I can do. So sorry about this, guys. Just gotta fix a little bit here, and oh, there we go. Okay, so we're good. So we already do something, when it's against Barrett, and look, he already got I know reuniting the dude that he put up there 2 days ago. I didn't get to watch yet, but 0-10 against top teams. Yeah, true, but it's like it's just like I said, some like Bucks fans, like they just really gotta calm down and like not you're not gonna win like every game, and there's some players because we got like younger players, and it's not gonna be great every night, and it's just gotta be development. So hopefully they work out like developments with some of the young players in the off season, and go from there. But anyways, we're gonna do the Bucks and Knicks reaction. I didn't do the game other game reaction on Wednesday, which I forgot who they faced. It was, I think it was Denver. Yeah, yeah, it was Denver because they lost to Denver, and they split the senior season series between the two. So normally how we do this with the drinking game, I got my my non-alcoholic beer, Blue Moon. Um, yeah, Blue Moon, non-alcoholic beer. Um, if anybody, if y'all still live and want to play, the drinking game, you can. It don't always have to be alcohol. You just have, maybe a juice or maybe water or just wherever your choice. But no kids or teenagers drink alcohol until you're 21. So, for whoever's like 21 or over, like if you want to do a drink, then go ahead, pick your poison. So we're going to start it. So the rules are, if every time Barrett says Kyle Kuzma or Chris Middleton, you take a drink. So let's just start this. Oh yeah, I muted it. Sorry.
So the game after the Bucks had the most respectable loss of the season, where they were right there with the Nuggets pretty much the entire game, with the Bucks being without Giannis, without Dame
Dame.
still, without Jericho, without Bobby, on the road. Bucks hung right with them with a Kuzma stinker, having to overcome that, and then right
You already said Kuzma. That's sad. Right from the gate.
after that, they returned to getting Giannis back and finishing off against the top three seeds in the East, 0-10. And against the Knicks, the team that they're most likely to see in the first round at this point, as the Bucks have dropped to the three seed, that's just one against
You
tonight
mean
against
drop
the Cavaliers. So
from 3 to 6?
better and
Well,
better
4 to
chance
6.
that the Bucks might not be able to get back up to that five seed. Um, so yeah, the first round matchup, the Knicks have beaten us pretty much with ease every time. And
Except for
tonight,
this game.
Bucks still without Dame back. Can't really use that as an excuse because he's not going to be back come playoff time. That's just like who the Bucks are at this point, not having Dame. And then yeah, without Bobby, without Jericho, but the Knicks, they're without Jalen Brunson still, without their backup point guard Cam Payne, who actually fried the Bucks last time we played them. And then they're without Karl-Anthony Towns for a lot of the games because he got in foul trouble early. And yet, even still, this is almost like the worst type of loss as a fan, where realistically, probably a blowout
It's not the worst loss. It's like I can understand they was coming close at one point, but that's not the worst loss. Their worst loss when they faced the Knicks the first time. If y'all just saw, while I was talking about, the season series between the two teams. Yeah, that first game in November, that was their worst loss, one of their worst losses, but not this one. At least they lost by 9. So it's just the play of it with Doc Rivers. He just really it's like you still like you got two big men that you use, and you got another big man, and well, I'll just put on Livingston in that like 6'8", um because he did grow 2 inches. You got Livingston, and you got Tyler Smith, 6'10", 6'11". Why you not using him? And don't say, and I think he's like somebody said that he said that they're not ready. But how are they going to learn if they don't get to play? Practice shouldn't like make the person, but it should make them better. But it should make because you don't know how some players going to be like get used to the NBA. Like seriously,
Loss is the worst.
no, it's
But
not.
games like this kind of stink, bro. Where it's just like the game's never over. Like there's never a point in the game where it's like, okay, there's no chance for us to come back. But it's just like thoroughly from pretty much the very beginning, the Knicks just were in control the entire game. Bucks make a little run to get back within a few points, then the Knicks will go on another run and go back up 10, 12, 15. And it's just going to go from Bucks being down a few points to down 15. And the Knicks were just in the driver's seat the entire game with all their injuries. So pretty depressing seeing even the Knicks, who have actually been one of the worst good teams against other good teams, like the Knicks have their record mainly by beating up bad teams. Um, but even that team that mostly beats bad teams, the Knicks, the Bucks can't even really compete with throughout this entire season. So definitely not a good sign. And today for the Bucks, I think Ryan Rollins is the great thing to hang your hat on. I've been a Ryan Rollins appreciator, but at the same time a little bit of a skeptic as opposed to other Bucks fans. Meaning, there's never been a time where I didn't like Ryan Rollins. I always said he's solid, solid defense, trust him to make solid decisions, can make a shot if he's left open. But like when I hear people talking about like star and star potential and stuff like that, like I don't really see any of that. Like I mostly see him as like solid defender, nothing insane, and then like
You never know. Things can change. Real quick of year 3. Well, for Ryan Rollins, next season will be year 3, and I guess Buck saw something in him out the gate when they got him not last season but the season before playoff time. So they saw something in him, and they kept him around in the 2 way, and they decided to put him a full time contract for the rest of the year. So Ryan Ross is going to be due for a little bit of a payday, but I don't think he's going to get as much as some people think right now. Like keep development, keep going. If he does good, next, wherever, how many years they're gonna sign him to a contract, yeah, he's probably gonna be in worth it. So it's like a wait and see.
can knock down an open shot, like not like a great shot creator or anything like that. For the last couple of games, he's made high level impacts. Like for the Nuggets, I think if he wasn't there, that game would have been a blowout. Like it was a rough start actually for the Bucks. He came in, made an immediate defensive impact. I think that he was a
Mm-hmm.
big part of why that game was close. And this game probably would have been a thorough blowout as well without Ryan Rollins, where he's the best player on the floor. Giannis, I know, got his stats, and he's always going to play well. But I mean, a lot of those stats came like not a lot of them, but like 4 points, a couple of the rebounds did come in the last like 2 minutes when the game was over. And Ryan Rollins shooting 8 of 12, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Yeah, he had 4 turnovers. Turnovers were the biggest issue for the Bucks today, but
Mm-hmm.
it's
There's
no
always the
coincidence
issue.
that he had the best plus minus on the team, and the Bucks won by 7 when he was on the floor because he was picking up full court, making life difficult for Dylan Dawn right on the other end after he had got to a good start today. And so Ryan Rollins, I mean, obviously nobody's going to keep up shooting 8 of 12 or anything like that. But if he can keep up this level of defense, he's never been a bad defender. But I feel like he's
Hold on.
He's taking his defense to
For a guy that hates Andre Jackson Jr., and he's a very good defender, but it sucks that Doc didn't use him. So then you got Ryan Rollins that's a great defender too, and tip riding him a little bit. Not saying that's a bad thing for him, but like my point is, it's like after this trade we did, besides had to get rid of AJ Johnson, but we only had to do that for the trade to work, and that's probably the only person that they would take. So yeah, why not? And I know somebody said on the chat that I was in before, like with a man with logic, they was like, oh man, oh I nearly forgot. So it was like the lights of saying, that we're we need to work on our wings and guards, and I came on there and just said like, yeah, the wings and guards, of course they need work. They're gonna need work because how old they are, and they still got time to develop. But I also say on the chat, we're like a center and a coach away from being great. Doc Rivers is a good GM, but yeah, it's starting to seem like he's like a bad coach. So if the owner, they want to keep Doc Rivers, just fire Horse and put him as GM. So because I think he's good, like looking at the outside looking in, then like as coach, because you need a coach that that's want to develop young players and let them get their shot. Because right now the NBA today is like a young man's league. Not saying like you like LeBron James is like no, it's not old, but it's like if you can still keep your body good and still catch up with everybody and still scoring a massive over 20 points a game like James is. Yeah, but right now it's like a young man's league, and as I mentioned before, like when Toronto's won their championship, ever since then all the teams that been winning, it hasn't been like a dynasty thing or anything like that or went back to backs. So that's interesting to see. And around that time, since they modified contracts and like paying teams like even more on their salary cap, make it kind of like even instead of a team can go over and they don't really care. So like the owners will spend more for the to get the best player, like the Lakers or let's see Chicago or something like that. But yeah, sadly nobody don't want to go to Chicago, and at the time nobody didn't want to go to the Knicks. But yeah, they had a big turnaround. But yeah, let's move on.
to another level the last couple games and be just a real offensive threat like he's been the last couple games. Not to this extent, but just be solid offensively a little bit more than he had been earlier in the season. I'm really excited about Ryan Rollins now as a Buck. The last couple games more than I ever have been. Outside of that, Brokeback Mountain. I'm just gonna revisit what I was saying. The trade deadline. I think, especially against good teams that have floor spacing, play quick. Today, it's not going to be as exploited because you have Jalen Brunson to really make that pick and pop duo something crazy,
Yep,
something difficult to deal with, where Brunson can come off and Brook Lopez is playing drop, pull the mid range. If
true.
not, just throw it back to Carly Towns for threes and try and have Brook Lopez to recover to that. We
Hmm.
saw it get picked apart time and time again against the Knicks, where it wasn't as bad today, but even still, like
Yeah, Brooke has been getting picked apart for the past few years. So I know he's after this season he's gonna be off the books. If they some way somehow end up keeping Brooke Lopez, he gotta take a low contract. I'm sorry, but at his age and 37, yeah, you gotta take a low contract. I don't care, how like good you are, scoring and block shots, protect the rim. No, you got to do more, especially with your lack of rebounding, which is like only had a total of five, and like the other game, I don't know if it was Monday's game, but yeah, he ended up having 10 rebounds. Like wow, and most of it was like offensive rebound. Instead of trying to tap into the next person, then they had to claim the rebound, and sometimes that backfires. So yeah, either Brook Lopez game got to change, or don't re-sign him and just let him go. Even if you do, just have him be on the bench or something.
Like against the good teams, like 7 points, 6 assists, I guess, good job. They just find the back pass turnover, but
Yeah.
finishes with 5 rebounds. And my point is just, I don't understand how he wasn't even in trade rumors. Because he was just so much more tradable as a contract of just 20 expiring deal to where a tanking team would have just taken his contract. Where like I'm sure for the Wizards, you could have gotten that trade done just Kuzma for Brook Lopez without throwing AJ Johnson in there. The reason you throw AJ Johnson in there for the Wizards is because they had to take on 30 million for next year for Chris Middleton, and as a tanking team, they really had like no interest, not a lot of interest in paying that type of money for Chris Middleton. I think they want to probably spend that money on younger
Oh
players.
crap! I
But
forgot. Sorry. He said Chris Middleton twice. But then again, I had a sip earlier, a minute ago. So you know what? Yeah,
they did it because they got AJ Johnson in it. But if they could have just said, "We'll get rid of Kuzma's money, we'll get
Kuzma.
Kuzma's money off the books for next year because we're paying Kuzma 20 million next year," and then if the Wizards could have just said, "Oh yeah, we'll get an expired contract," that trade could have been done straight up. I would have never traded for Kuzma, but I'm saying
Of course he wouldn't. And although Kuzma is proven like with the game he played today, although he should have been a little bit better in rebounds, but if you hey PD, yeah, I do remember you. But Kuzma didn't play bad today. Maybe his 3-point shooting wasn't good, but he still didn't play bad. Yeah, I know you did, and I'm glad you did. If you just join us, we're doing the drinking game. Um, Wherever you like, soda or water. I got my non-alcoholic beer. So yeah, it's just every time this guy Barrett says if he says Chris Middleton or Kyle Kuzma, take a drink or take a shot or whatever the case may be, soda water, whatever. So you just said Kuzma and I did, took my sip. So
if I was at the trade deadline, I would have been making calls with putting Brook Lopez in there, and then the asset I would have thrown in there as well would have been Andre Jackson rather than AJ Johnson. And this is revisionist history. Go back and watch the videos.
nope.
And outside of that, yeah, that's what I've been looking to do. And then in the offseason, if you're saying, "Oh, the second apron," blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The Bucks received 10 million in the salary cap. Yes, moved him on to the second apron. But like Chris Middleton, if he didn't show up in the playoffs,
Say Chris Middleton.
yes, every year previously, you could have just traded him this offseason. Or you could have traded Pat Connaughton when he has 1 year left on his deal. Or maybe Bobby Portis doesn't re up on the player option, which that would give short with the second apron.
But you're not looking at it like this. Um, it's true that Bobby Portis has some questionable defense, but his offense and his rebounding is what we need. Just like the same thing that you see why we got Jericho Sims. We needed a center that can run and be quick. Um, APD, my day is going good, so yeah. But I wouldn't even be upset if they keep Bobby. If he decides, keep his player option, which I think he will. Pat Connaughton probably will, but like I mentioned, they might end up trading Pat Connaughton because unless they're just gonna let him like play out through his contract. But if the right trade is available, if Pat Connaughton stays next season, believe me, I understand he does a lot more in this community in Milwaukee and stuff like that. And plus, his real estate business, and he owns like I think like a few apartment complex around here. But the point is, when it's time for that person to go, it's that person's time to go. And Bobby, although he's 30, but he's still, on the verge, hitting his prime. When it gets to your late 20s, early 30s, you hit your prime. So it's the jury is still, out on people thinking they should get rid of Bobby Portis, which, like, if they did, I understand, but I don't think they should. And like I said, we got younger. Well, the exception of, you know, with the exception of Brooke Lopez and Damian Lillard, yeah, we only got two older players. So we need to get young players that can, run up and down the court and can defend, which is not Brooke Lopez forte. Like I said, he can score, he can shoot the three, can protect the rim, but that's all Brooke can do. And out of a center, you shouldn't be doing that.
There's a whole bunch of ways the Bucks could have done in the second apron this offseason. The second apron.
Okay, he mentioned like the separate apron. They did that trade so they can get off the second apron. Um, if you was hearing and really studying like the NBA, especially with these new rules that they put out the all season coming to this season, the Bucks would have lost their 2031 draft picks. I think it was they would have lost them or they just couldn't trade them. But yeah, because from what I heard, it's like they would have lost them if they didn't do get off the second apron. So talk about doing like getting this off a second apron in the off season. There's nothing you can do about that. Like it'll just be like a restart and free agencies and the times you can able to do times you're able to do trades is like a week before the draft as long as it's involved with draft picks. You can think it's like week 2 weeks before the draft you can do it's got to be after the NBA finals. I know that. Then after the free agency starts, you can make trades and stuff like that. But sometimes the free agency gets hot, then later on it gets cold. Then probably towards the beginning of the preseason, suddenly boom, it booms up. So I don't get why he's still saying Chris Middleton, and he probably hasn't paid attention to any of the Wizards games and any of his numbers, like to prove like he was right about not trading Chris Middleton. Right now, he's been proven wrong.
And apron stuff, it never helped the Bucks because at the trade deadline they didn't use it. But anyway, so I'm just saying like that's just basically propaganda. The second apron argument. But anyway, Kyle Kuzma did have a great game.
Almost drinking the wrong way. Said Kyle Kuzma.
For himself. Still ugly turnovers, ugly shots, four turnovers, throwing the ball at top of the backboard a couple times, ridiculous stuff, couple air balls. But 20 points. He played well. A couple times he fell asleep on defense. Like a good game from Kyle Kuzma.
It's still a good game. Only thing I can think of is he's butthurt because Chris Middleton is gone.
Not gonna be great, but like still 20 points. It's good. Not great, but it's good.
I'll accept that.
Giannis,
Yeah, what more you can say about Giannis? I'm sorry about that, guys. I was watching the live on WFSO too. I don't know why I done that.
him, like I say, like, okay, don't go pedal to the metal from team this flood, 10 games to win the playoffs, knowing you've gotten hurt going to the playoffs last 2 seasons. Not mad at you, but I'm also not going to act like you played some great game because you are, in my opinion, still, when you're healthy and right, the best player, and at your best, the best player in basketball. To where, yes, you can't say block to 39-7, but defensively,
Oh, you talk about
and knowing
Giannis.
that, like I said, a couple of the buckets, a couple of the rebounds came in the last couple of minutes when realistically, it probably would have been more like a 26, maybe even 7 before the game was like given up by the Knicks because they won. Uh, I don't think this was like a phenomenal Giannis game, but he was fine. He was good. Maybe you know what, I'm being a little too harsh, too critical.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
you are.
actually, let me strike that. I'm saying I don't think he had like classic Giannis impact, but this is actually exactly what I want from Giannis. I want him to not go too hard going into the playoffs, and he's been able to build up his skills where he can go. I mean, he hit 11 from the free throw line, got to give him credit for that. But he can also knock down mid ranges to where he's able to put up these numbers without as much wear and tear. Giannis played a good game. Defense wasn't great, but he played. I mean, striker in this at first. Good game, honestly, even though defensively not that great. Torian Prince, part of the difference between the Bucks and the Knicks. Most of it is just like A, not being as good, and B, like having Brook Lopez that can't guard out in space. Um, but also, the Knicks had all of their starters in double digits, and Torian Prince,
Yep.
great catch and shoot guy, but not a guy that can really.
It was just today. It was just not his game, and plus, the passes like they get to him for him to like do the catch and shoot. Yeah, just today with his catch and shoot just wasn't that great. And like I said, he has up and down games, but nothing personal against Torian Prince. I like him, but I think you should be coming off the bench, buddy, when it comes to playoffs. Like, understand, they put you at the shooting guard position because, height wise, which makes sense. Because you got Kuzma 6'9" at the small forward, then you got Giannis at the power forward 6'11", then 7 foot Brook Lopez, which sad that he cannot move his feet. Maybe Brook Lopez, like I said, need to lose some weight, stay stronger, and maybe he can be quicker. But may not happen.
Keep going if they take that away. Where the Knicks have 5 guys that can all put the ball on the floor, pretty much all can hit a mid range, can shoot three, get to the rim, where there's a lot more pressure on defense. Where the Knicks can just say, run Tory Prince off the 3 point line, and then you can just kind of spread out to the other players on the team because Tory Prince isn't going to do anything with the ball on the floor for the most part. Um, and then off the bench, Gary, hit threes, but whatever. He
Yeah, Gary Trent Jr. didn't do that bad. Probably the only person that was helping the bench up, and like I said, Kevin Porter Jr. Didn't play enough, but he didn't have like that bad of a game. But they, just like I said, Doc didn't play him
AJ Green, there was
enough
one
at
time he was
least.
left wide open in the corner. They didn't find him. Coming off the game, we had 15 5 5. Feel like they could have made it a little bit more of a thing to hit the shots again. But I mean, he only had one last shot that he had last 3 last shots. 3 of 6, 2 of 5 from 3. He was fine as well, but his
Yeah.
defense wasn't very good. So I guess a mixed bag. His defense was pretty bad actually. So yeah, be real about that. Last thing I'll say, Kevin Porter Jr. That was one of his worst games as a Buck. Probably his worst game. He's had a couple bad ones. Definitely bottom 3 game. He was terrible. He was a big reason the Bucks were down at halftime. He came in. He was really, really bad. I thought it was 4 turnovers. I guess only 3, but defense wasn't good. The turnovers were really bad. I think they all led to buckets. So rough game for him. And somebody on Twitter was talking about like everybody was hyping this dude up, and like there's a little bit of truth there. Like he got a little overhyped, but I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed Kevin Porter Jr. as a Buck, and I think it was a great get to get him the Mars on Beauchamp. Um,
You see, he traced his steps now that because it was after the trade deadline, he ended up saying that getting Kevin Porter Jr. was a bad thing. It sucks. But he's coming around and saying, he finally enjoys, Kevin Porter Jr. for what he does. I think with the Clippers, Kevin Porter Jr. didn't have that much of a chance because they had their other players like bench wise. So good way, Kevin Porter Jr. get to get to rebrand himself and stuff like that. But I'm a fair person that like to give people a second chance, and I'm glad Kevin Porter Jr. is doing very good with his second chance in the NBA. And I think there's some people out there in the world just need to learn that people should deserve a second chance, and when they because that's the sad thing because when people try to work with their second chance and trying to do good, you always got the few people that get having like an attitude about it, and it's you know just sad. And plus, with the things that's going on in the world right now, and especially you got like jobs, not taking in some people because they look at them the wrong way and be like, no, we're not going to hire this guy. It's just sad. It really is. And that's how some people repeat the same thing that they did when got them in trouble. And I think, everybody in the world doesn't see that. But I think, it's time, for the world to actually, wake up and, at least give, oh crap, it went offline. I apologize about that, WFSO 2. There we go. Sorry guys, I apologize about that for WFSO 2 who's watching. Um, it kind of does that. Like sometimes it just goes out, then you gotta put it back on live, and just ridiculous. But second chances, are hard to come by with some people. And if you have your second chance, take it, work hard on it, and prove everybody wrong. That's mainly like what I'm saying, like because everybody deserves a second chance, and if they mess up that second chance, then shame on them.
But I also, at the same time, do think it says a little bit about where the Bucks are at. Just how excited I've been about him as a Buck, and how other Bucks fans have been excited about him because he's still a flawed player when it comes down to it. And so,
I'm
you
just
know,
drinking anyway.
he's a nice player. And he's been a great pickup for the Bucks, and I've loved him as a Buck. But part of it is like we're desperate for any type of hope right now, especially with a young player. Let me know what y'all think.
Yeah, had to have a little more of the drinking game, but I am gonna finish the rest of this anyway. Um, I was gonna do one when he was talking about the Nuggets, but that was a very close game, so I'm not gonna do that one. Um, before we go, thank you guys that's watching on Twitch. Please follow us on here. We do like content like almost every day, and might be some good content like basketball. Um, well, we do shows like Bucks Talk, Aftermath, After Dark, the Jones Chronicles, or whenever opportunity we do like a Bucks Live, will be on here. So share the channel as well. And that for everybody that's on YouTube, either you're watching live right now or you're watching pre-recorded. Thank you for your support and thank for all the loyal subscribers, and we appreciate it. Nobody didn't participate in the content, so I might go end up just doing like something online. I'm probably gonna do that because I know I'm growing as subscribers are growing and stuff like that. That's good, but like I said, I'm trying to get rid of these keychains as a giveaway, and I don't know. Nobody didn't like either respond or anything like that, but I might just pull a poll up. So I might do that for Sunday's game. which the next game they play the Hawks, and I will be at that game. So yeah, I do have a busy weekend. Starting tomorrow, you got AEW coming here in Milwaukee. Like some of them is there now, but go to the show, then hang out with some friends like afterwards for a bit. Then Sunday, spend time with the son for probably his last day before he goes to the National Guard. But I know I get to see him one more time before he leaves on the day of he leaves. So yeah, and plus another program note. I think we kind of stopped with wrestling talk. Martha say last week's episode was like the season finale. Because I was trying to work with people to get them like interviews. This week they didn't show, or it could be something in my end like yesterday's Thursdays I should say. Had a lot to do, had a lot going on that day, and couldn't even memorize like some of the people I had to interview. So probably just gonna end up working something out with them. Because I am taking openings for like wrestling interviews. If you're a wrestler, commentator, referee, promoter, wherever the case you are that got something to do with like wrestling, we are looking for dates in May. So I'm not expecting it, the May to fill up real fast. So and plus there may be some changes into like the scheduling of like doing shows. So yeah, just stay tuned for that. So it may we'll end up, maybe just doing it on Mondays. So that could be what's going to happen. So maybe I'll probably going to end up taking more than I can, and we'll work something out. But anyways, like I said, thank you for the low subscribers that's on YouTube. If you're a new subscriber, please subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and hopefully we can get there. Um, like I said, we talk about not just the Bucks, but we also talk about wrestling. We talk about comic book movies and TV news. Um, Also, we talk about developments that's going on in Milwaukee as well. So, and plus, we got the show every Tuesday that we do live on YouTube and on Twitch, that the Jones Chronicles. So, you interested in hearing us talk about everything and anything? Check that out. Normally it'll be like 6 p.m. Central Time, or it'll be a little bit later, like a little bit after 6. When I'm trying to set up and stuff like that. So and there's gonna be times we don't have no subjects to talk about. So if y'all do have like subjects to talk about, just add them on the live chat, or just comment below. Um, Anyways, over 2,500 videos, a lot of content on there. We're right here on YouTube, so please check out the content. Maybe something that you're interested in. Um, Also, one of the longest reigning channels on YouTube as well. So yeah, very interesting. Also check out the website wrestlingfanspeakout.weebly.com. Upcoming events in the Midwest, meet and greets that's up, in the Midwest as well. Also, photos of what we took, at wrestling events and Bucks events, and being like people and stuff like that. So you can go ahead and hopefully you can check that out. So anyways, that's it for me. I know I gotta get some sleep because we got like a event for Maddie's memory to do. I would say later on. So I'm gonna try to put this video on YouTube right away. Well, the pre-recorded episode. So I'm gonna try to put this on there right away so I can get some sleep, and yeah, and just catch up on everything. Probably what, Sunday? No, probably let's see. I think we're busy on Monday as well, so I'm gonna catch up eventually. But anyway, guys. Also another program note: WFSO Aftermath might be done a little bit later because from coming from the game. So most likely it will probably would be either 10:30 p.m. Central Time, 11:30 p.m. Eastern, or it'll be 11 p.m. Central, midnight Eastern. So it could be one to two. So I'll probably will let y'all know as soon as I get home. But and plus Monday we got the season premiere of Top 10, which I'm thinking maybe doing it live, which I probably will probably do it live and pre-record it just to see how it goes. So possible I may do that, but we'll see. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Until the next video, you guys have a good one and see you later. And regardless of what fans saying, go Bucks, go. I don't care what they say. We still got one of the top three best players in the NBA and top two of the 75 best players in the world. So and good luck to Dame too. Hopefully have a speedy recovery and all that good stuff. But let me just end Twitch and I'm gonna end it with you guys. So until the next video, you guys have a good one. And sorry if I'm repeating myself again, but yeah, I'm really gonna go this time. See you later.